disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. It doesn't make a difference how beautiful your guess is. It doesn't make a difference how smart you are who made the guess or what his name is. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know I've been on a what? Mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Vanko. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it.
I've been on a mission like totally spice. I'm a baddie, she bad, but she totally nice. Stil så blue and a to så like white. Det kom bli med charter, der så for mig lag. I do it for sure, but
What is up, party people? All right, that was a slow start. All right, so this is what's going on for the day. It's not going to be a very long stream. I got some things going on today, but I definitely wanted to get on here because there was a topic of discussion that was going on earlier that I wanted to discuss. If you hadn't noticed by the title, it is obviously going to be about James Webb. Let me see here. I am just trying to make sure all my settings are good. All right. We don't need this right now. Yeah, fuck it. Okay, so like I said, the title says it all. This was brought up to me earlier. Obviously, this is... Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me just do it on my full screen. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. James Webb does a... I don't know why that's up. That's not what I wanted to share. There it is. Okay, so James Webb does what is called an L2 orbit, or it's orbiting at what's called the L2 point. Let me go ahead and make this bigger. Okay, so right here, this is the L2 point. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this right here, that circle you see is the L2 point, which the Webb telescope is orbiting. The question that SC had brought up to me was, how is that possible? Because obviously when we think of orbits, we think of it being, you know, the orbit around the sun, or the moon's orbit around us, or us orbiting around the sun. Where Webb in this illustration is actually orbiting a point, not an actual object. Let me... Don't forget, I haven't forgot about you guys in the chat. Let me get over there real quick. What's up, 9 o'clock? I'm sure Gary will stretch it out. Your volume is low on Discord and on YouTube. I don't think I can fix that, Gary. I don't think I need to tell you the truth. Give me a second. The YouTube part I can fix. That's easy. I'll just turn that up a little bit. My microphone settings, I really don't think they need to be fixed, to tell you the truth. Looking at it right now, yep, my microphone looks just fine. There's not even any audio gain I need to put into it. Yeah, I think I'm okay, Gary. If anything, I just need to get closer, maybe even talk a little bit louder, but that's fine. What's up? But thanks for the insight. Let me see here. So, like I was saying, that orbiting it, Webb orbiting that point is the point of Essie's argument and what is not possible, I guess. Hopefully he shows up. He said he was doing something, but regardless, we can still talk about it. In this other part right here, this illustrates the orbital path that James Webb had to take to get to this point. And the reason I really wanted to talk about this was because, as obviously, I don't have a real great understanding of orbital mechanics, but just in the understanding that I do have, I can look at this and see why it's doing what it's doing and what the purpose of it is. I have tutorial on the panel. I'm gonna go ahead and do because he's smart as shit, so we can actually really get into it. Until hopefully SE gets here. He did get the link, so he does know what's going on. Oh, I see. I'm not even sharing it. Damn it. Why am I not sharing this? All right. I apologize, people. You guys had no clue what I was even looking at. Okay, so I'll start over. So where this red arrow is pointing to an orbital path that Webb is taking. The L2, which is right here. L2 is what the point is called that the James Webb is orbiting. So now you guys can actually see what I'm looking at. I apologize for that. That was horrible of me. I will go over to Discord, and when I do that, I will be sharing it through that window, which will make life easier for them. But yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, this orbit, this one that I'm outlining in red, I want to talk about why it's doing it and what it is orbiting with question marks. Because in reality, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek to the conclusion of this. It's not orbiting anything. It's literally trying to catch up. But we're going to get into the details of that because it's very important that we discuss that. So let me get into the Discord and say what's up to them. But before I do that, I'm going to get back into the chat. What's up, Citizen9? It's been a long, long time, my friend. Yeah, I know. I effed up, my friend. I'm seeing it now. It's so you guys are looking at it as I say this. It'll probably be over by that point. But it's been a long time. So how you been, man? It's been a very long time. Good to see you here. Let me go ahead and get into Discord. What is up, sir? How you doing?
Hey there, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Well, you kind of know the basic of this conversation, what it's going to be about. I brought it up in the other server, an ummmmm server. Let's see, because I know I'm 1,000% positive you get exactly what's happening here and why. Until Montreal hopefully gets here. And you're unmuted, Gary. But unless it's going to be about this, you can go ahead and stay. I want to see if I can go through this and see if I'm correct in my reasoning for it, and you can kind of correct it. If you're not busy, I know you were doing something.
Sure, maybe.
Okay.
I don't have much time, so I'm probably going to only stick around for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll make it quick, but I did want to. Let's share this real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, why are you not working? Oh, there we go. I know why. It's on this side. Okay, here we go. Inkscape, there it is. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is basically everything that we're going to talk about right here. Everything going on in this situation. So what SE was saying is that this is impossible because what L2, the point that Webb is quote unquote, and I say that specifically to make a good point, that it's orbiting a nothing point. Typically, because we as you heard, we assume that when we're talking about an orbit, it's orbiting something, right? Now, I wanted to get into the part where I explain it, and you tell me if I'm right. Is the reason it's doing this orbital path due to the fact that it has to keep up with Earth in Earth's orbital path?
No, not necessarily. No.
Explain.
It could sit direct. It could sit directly on the L2 point, but the problem is the L2 point itself is somewhat unstable. It is only stable in the what you call it. It's either the longitudinal or radial direction. I keep forgetting which one it is.
Yeah, it kind of does one of these as it's going along. Or kind of just, it meanders.
So it's longitudinally stable, but it is not radially stable. So essentially what it wants to do is, you kind of have to think about it. It's not necessarily that an orbit is formed when there's a large mass at the center of the orbit. An orbit is formed whenever there's a balance of forces that basically forces and curves the trajectory of the object. And in this case, the curvature of this, think of it more like, let's think about it more like in two-dimensional. That's going to be a slightly easier thing to think about. And essentially at the, let's say that it's at the very forward part of the oscillation, right? So it's not at L2 directly, but it's forward of the orbit of Earth and the Sun. What you have is then a component of the gravitational pull of the Earth that's pulling it back to the L2 point radially. Make sense?
So it kind of force it to want to do one of these.
Think of it like a 2D case. So it's just following the sort of the horizontal line there.
Okay, so it just, if it was here,
so let's say
want to
that
run it down that line.
Yes,
it's forcing it down
wants
this
to go
line.
there. But as it gets to the L2 point, the gravitational component of the Earth becomes directly in line with the Sun, so there's no more any pull back. And then when it passes the L2 point, it's going to start getting pulled by the Earth the other direction, basically ahead in the orbit, because now it's behind the Earth. Make sense? So it's sort of like a spring.
Yeah. So it does one of these. Once it gets to this point, its force wants to bring it back. But because, and this is important, because there's nothing, it's not like someone pushing on a door, right? It's not an instant force, like an instant reaction is a better way of saying it. Instead of it making this hard turn, what is observed is it making this large loop. So it kind of does one of these. Comes out and it goes, oh shit, I got to go that way. And then it starts its big path back, right? That's the big loop of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a kind of a harmonic oscillation, right? So it's sort of like it's being pulled by springs that are fairly loose. But that's essentially what it is. It's sort of like a pendulum. A pendulum also doesn't reverse direction immediately once it goes beyond the lowest point. It's just gravity then starts pulling it back the other direction, slowly taking off the speed that the pendulum has until it fully reverses, and then it again starts building up speed as it gets down to the lowest point.
Okay. So then, I guess another part that's super important, and as I do this, I'm trying to see if my mic needs to get turned up. They say my mic needs to get turned up, but I think it's loud. I can hear myself. No, yeah, everything's good. There's no way.
Good now.
Yeah, there's no way for me to turn it back up. If anything, turn up your guys' stuff.
No, it sounds good now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me see. Okay, here we go. I apologize. So and then what's also important with that is because I also noticed when I was looking in the data for this, that this orbital path that it does take takes about 183 days. So it about twice a year, it actually makes two full orbits. I feel like
Yeah,
he
sure.
thinks this is happening fast, and that's why. Because if it was happening faster, I'd get it. But the reason I felt that way, that it was like that, is like, no, wait. What I was saying is kind of right. Okay, hang on. So like where I'm going over to the first picture I was looking at. So like when I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this center line between the sun and L2, I'm looking at it as Webb is gravitationally locked with Earth, and when we look at it from this side, that line, its gravitational pull is actually here. So James Webb is fixed on L2, but its orbital path is skewed a little bit, and because of what you were saying with it being the tension thing, so be like it running this way, and then that pull brings it back into orbit again, into a orbital path. It's kind of the same thing. That's what I was saying. So it's constant. So it is constantly trying to keep up with the Earth's orbital path, and because it's doing that, because of that spring effect, it's giving it an orbital path. So so when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking it's not even. Do you consider it an orbit? Do you consider it an orbital path?
Well, it is an orbit, but it's going around around, but doesn't necessarily have to go around a single object. I mean, Pluto and Charon are in orbit around a common barycenter, which is actually outside of Pluto. So it doesn't necessarily mean an orbit doesn't mean that it's orbiting a single body. They're orbiting. It's orbiting a kind of. Well, in the case of planets, it's orbiting a center of mass, but in this case, it's orbiting essentially a kind of balance point where the forces are going to cancel out.
Okay, so that balance point is the balance point between what it does here while the Earth is going here.
I'm going to try and draw it out if you want.
Yeah.
Mine's probably going to be a little bit easier that way.
Yep. I just feel because it's like why you bring that up, because it's kind of like to me. What?
You got to give me permission to stream, because otherwise I can't.
Oh, I don't. My apologies. Give me a second. Oh, you should be able to now.
Yep, I can now. Okay. So, Earth, Sun. Let's say L2 is here. So we'll call this guy L2. And the satellite is going to be sitting, let's say, over here, right? So we'll draw a little satellite, or it doesn't really matter what it is. So there's going to be two components of force. There's going to be this guy, and then there's going to be this guy, Earth. And I'm drawing it sort of out of scale, obviously. But there is, as the satellite has a tangential velocity component that way, the pull of the Earth and the Sun combine, first of all, to curve the path. That's what gives you your solar orbit, the solar part of the orbit. But crucially, the Earth also has this component here, if we just project it this way, that's trying to pull the satellite back towards the L2 point. Make sense so far?
Yes.
So you can think of it essentially as like two springs. One spring here, which corresponds to this part of the vector, and one spring here that corresponds to this part of the vector. But as the satellite gets pulled back, as it comes through the L2 point, that's when all the forces basically become completely along this vector. So there's no more force pulling it this way. And by the way, as it gets closer, this force actually diminishes. So it's the biggest out on this part of the perimeter, and then it diminishes until it basically becomes zero right at the L2 point, but then the satellite has already required some portion of velocity going that way, so it basically overshoots. And now there's a reverse part of the gravitational pull from the Earth and the Sun that's going to try and slow it down and make it, again, speed up that way. So it's sort of like you can think of it like a pendulum.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and it's this component of the pull that keeps pulling it back and forth. Now, this is a simplified 2D case. Imagine this in 3 dimensions, and that's how you get your circular orbit. But the problem is that this is not exactly a stable setup. So if there's any sort of small perturbation, it can actually drift away, and then the orbit will slowly become upset, and it will slowly drift away, or it could basically just get lost. So
Then
there's always a need for slight corrections on the L2 point.
oh, okay, so they would. Okay, so the L2 point is programmed into James Webb, and when that
Yes.
and when that happens, it recenters.
It has thrusters. Yes, it has thrusters on it.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of station keeping that has to be done. Not much, but a little bit. That's why satellites on the L2 point, well, generally most satellites have a finite lifetime having to do with their ability to keep the stable. So the L2 point is stable in this direction. So if you have a slight perturbation, it causes you to go this way. The gravitational pull should basically cause you to come back. But it is not stable in this direction necessarily. You can actually sort of wander off.
Okay. I see. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. I don't.
Or maybe I got it backwards. I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying.
So there's a little bit of station keeping that you have to do. Not much, but a little bit.
And that's obviously
And every
recorded.
satellite's. Yes, I mean it has a finite amount of fuel on it. Generally, most satellites have a finite lifetime because of this.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the only ones that don't are things like Voyager, which their finite lifetime is pretty much limited by the amount of power that their radioisotope thermoelectric generator can make, but they're not actively trying to station keep, so there's no thrusters. Well, there's some thrusters on Voyager, but they're not being used anymore.
Oh, okay, just because. Well, yeah, but it doesn't need to, right? Voyager's just in a straight path.
Yeah, it's trying to basically bye-bye. It's trying to shoot out.
And is there?
Well, originally the mission was actually to go follow a very specific path, so that's why they had thrusters to be able to make some small adjustments for the trajectory, because you can never initially get the shot right from the Earth. You have to always do a little bit of adjustment. You have to look where the chips, so to speak, fall and make tiny course adjustments along the way. But yeah, no, once it's basically past its last inertia counter, we basically just let the thing go.
And I should probably look it up. But how far until we stop getting signal from it?
Good question. It is largely a matter of what is the size of dish that we're willing to dedicate to receiving it, and what is the amount of power that we're willing to put into transmitting the signal. And it is down very, very low. So the signal level, so they're using very large radio dishes right now to be able to receive anything. And even so, the data rate is extremely low. So it is, that's primarily driven, there's a mathematical relationship between signal level and maximum bit rate that you can extract out of it. And I'm not going to bore you with it, but Voyager is down to a few bits per second, basically, at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Okay, let me kill my stream.
Oh yeah.
It's probably going to be more like we're going to lose signal with Voyager just because its RTG runs out of juice, or something breaks on it. It is a 50-year-old probe, so
Yeah,
wear and tear and stuff.
But what would break on it though?
Well, first of all, the RTG has a finite amount of plutonium in it. And the plutonium has a decay half-life of like 200 years. So theoretically, in 200 years, its power output would drop to half. But the problem is that the RTGs also have a kind of degradation and cracking, or basically material degradation in their thermoelectric components, the parts that take the heat from the decaying plutonium and turn it into actual electricity. That also doesn't really like being bombarded with neutron flux too much. So eventually that also degrades. So right now I think Voyager is down to like 1/4 of its maximum power generation capability compared to when it was launched. And second of all, individual parts on it literally just go bad. Like I know there were some issues with some of the memory banks on it starting to lose the ability to hold data.
Yeah, so damn, that takes a long ass time. So as of right now, or is that right now? As of yeah,
Few months,
yeah, it's good. It says it. Damn, what did I? Okay. It says it takes 22 hours, 22 and a half hours to get from Voyager to a probe that's out there, and then another 22 and a half hours for a response signal from spacecraft to reach Earth.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's about a light day away.
On April 20th, team received Voyager 1's response indicating that the clever code modification had worked. Okay, so they're still trying. They can still send a signal to it too.
Yeah, it was unreachable for a few months, and that was exactly because one of the computers had encountered an issue, like one of its memory banks had literally just failed. So they had to kind of work around some parts and try and communicate with it through some other channels. They managed to upload a program to patch the computer to get it back up and running.
Wait, how far is Voyager 1?
Voyager 1 is currently at a distance of 163 astronomical units. So it's about 15 billion miles.
Damn.
It's about 5 times the orbit of Pluto.
Damn. So wait. So it's past Pluto.
It is about 5 times further than Pluto, yes.
Okay, and
or maybe 4 times? Hang on, let me check.
And we're getting signals back from it. And what are we let me look that up. Why do I keep asking? What is Voyager 1 seeing?
I'm sorry, it's only 3 times past Pluto. Well, 3 times as far. What are you looking for? It's not in the orbit. What it's seeing, or what are you looking for?
Yeah. Like, are they showing us what it sees?
Well, all the television cameras have been shut down for decades at this point because there's literally nothing to look at out there. The sun would just look like another star in the sky. It'd just be darkness everywhere you look, with just some stars in the background.
Yeah, but what if they see a planet or something? Or
Unlikely.
Aliens?
Sure, somebody came up and cleaned the dust off the windshield.
Okay, so what are they receiving from it? Just how far it goes?
Well, they're receiving telemetry. There's other instruments on board that are not optical. So it has like a solar particle detector on it. It has a magnetometer so that it can sense the solar wind and it can sense the sun's magnetic sphere, the magnetic field.
In relation to the solar system?
Yes, it can see. In fact, that's how we figured out, or that's how we defined the edge of the solar system. Instead of Voyager 1 has left the solar system, is because it has passed what we call the termination shock, where the solar wind rapidly decelerates and weakens because it's essentially crossed over into the intergalactic medium, or the interstellar medium. Sorry. Yeah, it's traveling through the heliosheath.
The heliosheath is where the sun's influence starts?
The heliosheath is usually defined as the area where the sun's magnetic and solar wind effects dominate basically the vacuum of space. Like, it's the most prevalent effect that you're gonna see is the slight pressure of the solar wind. The few particles of stuff you see is from the sun, and the sun's magnetic influence is still dominant. Outside of the heliosheath, it's mostly like the galactic effects and the interstellar medium, which is much more rare and much weaker.
Okay, I see.
There's also a different composition of particles.
Okay, and this guy's, what's the closest galaxy? That's trillions,
M31,
right? We're talking
Andromeda.
Very, very far.
M31 would be Andromeda if you mean like a full-size galaxy. There's a few dwarf galaxies orbiting the Milky Way.
Say that last part again? I'm sorry.
M31 Andromeda is the nearest large-scale galaxy, is probably the one you're looking for. So just type M31 Andromeda. Or M31 Galaxy M31, there you go. And there's a few little dwarf galaxies that are orbiting the Milky Way that are closer, but they wouldn't really constitute a full-size galaxy.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, that was a stupid question. Okay, yeah, I get it now. I get why that was a dumb question. Yeah, because if it's 2.5 million light years away, being fit, yeah.
You were thinking about whether Voyager is going to go to Andromeda? Not a chance.
Yeah.
not ever.
Well, because you said like, I'm gonna try to find. Because you were saying it's like where it's at now is okay, perfect. It's like in like the nothing zone.
It's essentially left or in the helio sheath of the sun's influence. It's getting out there, but it's not not very far, to be honest. In terms of space dimensions, it's not very far from the Earth. It really kind of depends on the relative.
Well, shit, man. It's outside of our solar system. In terms of Earth, it's gone. Now,
oh yeah, it ain't coming back. No.
How fast did they have to? Did it go? Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone saw this, but NASA has some pretty badass fucking real time stuff.
So the funny thing is, as long as you give a vehicle enough velocity on the initial push, it will leave the solar system, no questions asked. That's just a question of giving it what we call the escape velocity. So literally just give it enough thrust, enough of a rocket size, and it will leave the solar system. Voyager,
I don't know why I'm looking at this. It's too much.
Yeah, Voyager wasn't actually trying to necessarily get outside of the solar system. Its mission was different. Its mission was to visit the solar system planets, because there was a very favorable alignment in the late 1970s that allowed essentially a single mission to visit most of the outer planets of the solar system on a single trip. And that alignment only repeats about every 200 to 250 years. So kind of this was the time to go. We didn't really get much of a choice in that. And yeah, it was all strung together in such a manner that as both Voyager probes passed near each of the planets, it got a little bit of a nudge, so to speak, or a slight speed boost towards the next encounter with the next planet.
I was on here earlier. I was looking at something else, but damn, this is hard to do. Because I was gonna show. Because I was looking at this earlier, and I was gonna show where basically this James Webb is. Because geez, it's like nowhere.
Do you have Space Engine?
No, not yet. No, not yet.
Okay. It might be in Celestia as well. Do you have Celestia?
I have Stellarium. No, I don't even have Stellarium yet. Remember, I just got this computer. I haven't put anything on it yet.
Stellarium is only a ground-based observation program.
I'm so sorry.
No. Well, I'm not trying to criticize it. I'm saying it's a different purpose.
Okay.
Celestia is free. It's open source, and you can literally just download it, and you can navigate the entire solar system. In fact, you can get outside of the solar system and stuff like that. And Space Engine is a little bit even prettier. It has very nice graphics, but it's not free.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Look, you can see where...
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, right there. It's kind of weird. Once you touch it, it goes out of... It stops being in motion again. But I think it's pretty badass.
You know, I can show you Space Engine, what it looks like.
Yeah, but I'll put this link in the chat, so if anybody wants to play with that, they can. It's not easy. Have fun. I think I am
Maybe a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, we should be all right.
Space Engine is still on sale, I think. Yeah, it's 40% off. So, under 20 bucks.
Fuck that. Not gonna do it. Ain't gonna happen. I could promise you that. I'm not spending that kind of money on that. That's for sure.
Sure.
It's not that important to me.
Oh well.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Alrighty, this is Space Engine.
This is like, it looks like Stellarium.
Sorta. But it's actually lets you do this. And it has a full-size universe in it.
Wait,
So
that's
I
not
can literally-
possible.
Oh yeah, it does.
But that's not possible.
Where's the sun? So I can literally just go look up. Does it have James Webb? Let's see. JWST? Might not actually. Huh. Oh, I might need to look at a different object. Is there a search for spacecraft manager? No.
You should be able to put like L2
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, so one of the features of Space Engine is it has procedural generation. So if you try and ask it to go somewhere where we do not have exact astronomical data, then it will auto-generate stuff and basically sort of create a plausible world that could be there. So this is right now, this is Earth, this is Antarctica. And let me rotate this about so that it's sort of the orientation that you would recognize it. So here's Australia and Asia, right? In fact, I can set it to follow real time. Do I have it set to real time? No, I don't. I actually have it set to the final experiment date. Set to current time. There it is. So this is now current time.
I can see my house from here.
Pretty much. In fact, what you can do in Space Engine is you can do this.
I wonder how much the system is that you can get like actual real time when you look at these things. I think Google, I know Google Earth does that, but I know that is extremely expensive and you got to get permissions. Yeah. So they have it.
Imagery probably controlled. South America. It's a little bit difficult to get your bearings on the Earth when it's everything is sort of twisted about. And if I look the other way,
Wait, go back real quick.
sun.
Turn around. Okay. Now, do you see how the United States is so much bigger like that? Now, if you zoom out, will you get more of a bigger Earth look?
I know what you mean, and that's the effect of you can actually mess about with that. You can mess with the focal length of the camera, so that when you want to simulate like the very fact, let's do a sort of an Apollo kind of deal. So let's go to the moon. So we'll go to moon, go to. Take me to the moon, baby. And I can literally just go like this, and I can fly myself to like, I don't know, like there, rotate about, and we can literally get the light renderer, the light rendering kind of screwed itself up. Whatever.
You're in a bad spot.
So we can literally just reproduce the way that they saw the Earth from Apollo by doing this kind of a deal.
Nice.
It's actually upside down. So there's North America, South America. And so yeah, I can sort of do that. But crucially, the sort of the trick of Space Engine is that it generates stuff for you if you want. So I can literally just pick anything I can see in the night sky here. So let's say, what's that red thing there? If I can zoom in better. So there, it says it's a nebula diameter of 104 light years, and we can just say go to there. And now you can see it's traveling, and here we are.
Now,
Finish the travel.
Now, you can go to Earth-like planets in there only if it's been identified, right?
Not quite. That's the trick of Space Engine, is that if we have data for it, then yes, it'll show you real astronomical data that we have. But if we don't have data, it will auto-generate something which is plausible, which it thinks might be there.
But that means it could be, you could have like 30 million. Yeah, what is that? That's crazy.
That's what it is. It's a dark patch of cloud. It's just lit up was against the galactic background there.
Ah, okay.
So it says that it's a diffuse nebula.
So just the remnants of something.
Oh, it's actually
Trillions.
the Eagle Nebula. Oh, it's the Eagle Nebula. Yeah, that's actually a real object you can find in the night sky.
Kinda. That's kind of weird to me because you don't really see you don't look in a telescope and see this.
Depends on the object. So Space Engine has the ability to simulate various types of exposure systems, right? Various types of rendering of light. Because if you just went for like realistic, then it might be fairly dim, and then you're like hoping for it to auto adjust. And you can mess with the exposure. You can do manual exposure, and you can mess with the exposure itself. So you could replicate. This is sort of more the artistic kind of representation for when you have a properly white balanced and adjusted and exposed picture.
So it kind of does.
Yeah, that might need quite a lot of exposure time. So for example, M31 is a fairly dim object in the sky. If you just go and look at M31, let's go from Earth, right? So let's go to Earth. I said find Earth. There, go. Let's get quickly to Earth. And from Earth, if you just wanted to look at, if you just wanted to look for M31 in the night sky, no, I want the Andromeda Galaxy. So this guy, okay, is going to focus for me, and there it is in the night sky. But it is this kind of a look, this appearance, is not something you would see with your bare eyes, because the Andromeda Galaxy is fairly dim, so it would not appear this bright.
Oh, okay. It's just high. Yeah, it would look like one of those the most faint dot we can find is what it would look like.
Look more like an extremely faint smudge, and you would have to have your eyes fully dark adapted. So you'd have to be like in full darkness for a half hour, so that you would be able to even make out its very faint light.
Now,
the way they do these kinds of pictures that you see, like these pretty pictures, is you have a long duration exposure. So you point the camera at it for like 5 or 10 minutes straight, and open the iris and just collect as much light as you can. That's when the actual like pretty shape, this kind of stuff, comes out. Make sense?
Yes. So okay. What was it? Okay, so obviously this is not a real depiction, because like you were saying, when you adjust your eyes to being in full darkness, because I've only been able to do it once or twice on backpacking trips, because I think the closest city was maybe 60 miles away from me in any direction. So I do know what that true thing is. Is there a way that there are other stars blocking out galaxies?
Stars are generally fairly small things, but what are you looking for in terms of like blocking out galaxies? Most of the stars that you can see with your naked eye are fairly close, actually.
Yeah, so like this galaxy. So like when we're looking at this galaxy, and this is why I'm asking, because for people who've never got this opportunity in being out in the wild wilderness and et cetera, to be able to see this, there's so many stars that galaxy, when you saw it, would be next to another. It would appear next to another one. So when we look at these things, are there more stars than we can observe? Because one star,
I mean, yeah, I mean, you are aware how many stars there are.
probably more than we can count.
Yeah, there's a famous phrase by Carl Sagan that there's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all
Oh
the
yeah.
face of Earth.
Yep.
So our Milky Way here, of which Earth is part of, um, contains about 100 billion, couple hundred billion stars.
Damn.
So that's what actually makes this glow. This is not necessarily gas that you're seeing. These are literally just the individual points of light of the individual stars that are there. If you want to actually, one thing in space engine is you can literally just travel. You can fly. So right now I'm flying at like 1,000 light years per second. I can speed up, and you'll see what happens when we get close to the body of the galaxy. You're gonna suddenly start seeing a whole shitload of stars come into view.
Okay.
There. This is the galaxy. These are all individual stars that you're seeing, the streaks here. And for each of these, I can actually just, in Space Engine, I can stop, click on it, whatever I'm interested in, and say, let's go there.
So okay, so this brings me to my next question to you then. Aliens. No, fuck it. Let's not say aliens. Other life somewhere else besides Earth.
Close, yeah. Aliens
Absolutely.
is a
Okay,
perfectly
yeah.
fine name for it, yeah.
Okay. Now here's there's a few answers you can have, or it's a multiple choice. No. Okay. No. Yes. Absolutely. Or yes, possibly.
The universe is a little bit too big to say that there is no other life besides us. So I would hazard to say that it's almost certain that there's some other life somewhere. Is it close? Unlikely. Is it intelligent? Even more unlikely. The universe is extremely big. By the way, you know what this is? When I typed in Cygnus X1.
No, I've never seen that before. What
Right?
is that? Is that something going
star
nova?
system. Yeah, it's a binary star system. This guy is a blue supergiant, and this thing here is a black hole. In fact,
Wait, what?
Space Engine has a very nice rendition of what black holes would look like.
Okay. See, I don't agree with that.
And yet, that's what Einstein's general relativity says they do look like.
But the problem
And
with that
in
is
fact, our observations say.
no, because the biggest issue with what I'm seeing is that our observations would never give us, we would never see the other side.
Ah, but we would. That's one of the consequences of general relativity.
That's an assumption. That's an assumption of general relativity.
Nope, this is absolutely observed.
Okay, so
Gravitational lensing is an effect that does exist and is observed very well.
Okay, so then what would be the observation of both sides of a black hole with gravitational lensing? Because
you're thinking in 2D. Black holes are three-dimensional holes.
yes, they're actually they're in every direction.
Yeah, it's more like a sphere. But yeah, it's sort of more like a sphere. It's just the closer you get, the more extreme the gravity becomes, and so when you start looking out, the universe starts becoming deformed because the light that's reaching you has to go through that very intense, very, very intense gravitational field, and it gets bent and distorted.
Yes,
So
understandable.
Notice how the stars behind that black hole are deforming. I'm literally seeing stars around and perhaps even behind myself. That. It's
Okay,
like looking through
so-
a lens.
So stay like that. When we observe a black hole, because of the event horizon, we never see that. We never see this observation. We don't.
No,
No,
the
keep
image
going.
horizon is down here.
Yeah. No, keep going. No, when we see a black hole, we look that we're basically looking. Okay, I see what you're saying, but hang on.
Let me show you a bigger
Okay,
one.
the best way I could say it is we are looking vertically down onto it, and anything that is lensing is behind it.
It could be behind. It could be literally off 90 degrees. It could be
Yeah.
anywhere. It could be.
Okay, but then my question is what is the
Oh boy, my
wait? You
headphones
know
are not
what?
working.
Okay, I see what the problem is. Is I looked at that black hole, and it to me seemed like an in and an out, but because it's like a sphere shape, that is just its illustration of its gravitational effects.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, this is what it would actually look like in reality if you were
yeah,
there.
that's what we actually observe.
And we do observe gravitational lensing around massive objects. Either black holes or even galaxies themselves at a very large scale can produce gravitational lensing effects, although they're nowhere near as extreme as this.
Well,
You can get
planets do this.
planets are fairly light, so the amount of lensing or the amount of distortion you would see is fairly small. But
Oh,
in fact,
okay.
the
I'm sorry.
sun, our sun, actually does cause this at a very, very, very tiny scale. But it was the first observation that directly confirmed Einstein's general theory of relativity, and it was observed by. There's a very famous movie about it. Well, it's a very good movie, and it's a famous story, where Arthur Eddington, the British astronomer royal, um, was the first guy to basically confirm a German scientist's theory to that essentially sort of overturned Newton. So it was a bit of a hit in the face of the British Empire. And it was right during the First World War. So there was a little bit of animosity. They just had a little bit of a scuffle. But the practical upshot is that yes, even our sun does produce very minute gravitational lensing. And for Eddington to observe it, he actually had to go to South Africa during a total solar eclipse, where the moon would just about barely, well, the moon would cover the core of the sun, so that you could actually observe the stars behind and close to the sun, through the corona, so to speak, right? And then he compared it with photographic plates that were taken in the same region of space 6 months prior when the sun was at opposition, right? So nowhere near that. And what he saw is that the closer you got to the surface of the sun, the more the stars were displaced radially towards the sun, which was a direct confirmation of the gravitational lensing effect. The gravity of the sun has essentially bent the light.
Yeah. Okay, and to correct what I was saying before, when I said about the
Displaced outward, but yeah.
like when I was saying about the Earth part of it, or a planet part of it, the planet doesn't lens. We see shaded spots.
The amount of lensing that the Earth, well, every gravitational object does a little bit of lensing, but the amount of lensing that the Earth does is just so tiny that it is absolutely unobservable. The gravitational force of the Earth is just too small for it.
Yeah, but when they observe gravitational lensing, that's also one of the ways they find planets. And the way they find those planets are the little shaded spots within that, right?
Not quite.
Like
It's
it.
not gravitational lensing that you're seeing there. There are many different ways, but typically the way you might be thinking about is occlusion.
Okay, yeah,
The
yeah.
sun will pass in front of the star and will occlude some light.
Other
Then you're
way,
gonna
other
get a
way,
little,
other way. The planet would pass in front of the star.
right. There's also another effect. The amount of stars that have planets aligned perfectly such that they are directly in alignment with us is not that many. I mean, well, proportionally not that many. There's still a lot of them, but there's proportionally not that many. This is called the transit method. Then there's another method called um, where you're looking essentially for the wobble of the star. So every time, let me go to
The wobble of a star.
yes.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, yeah. Okay, I get it.
So the sun or the parent star will be affected by its planets around it. So that will cause, as the planets are orbiting, the star will actually sort of slightly oscillate. The barycenter, or like the center of rotation, between let's say the sun and Jupiter is not perfectly in the center of the sun. It is slightly offset. It's still, I think, mostly within the sun, but the sun does a slight ellipse. It sort of does a little orbit within itself.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that velocity change you can observe on the redshift and blueshift of the star's light. So it'll slightly redshift and blueshift as the planet orbits around the sun, around its parent star, and from that you can actually deduce both the orbital period and the mass of the planet.
It seems so that's so above my pay grade. I don't understand.
It's, I mean, it's fairly, that's one of the things about orbital mechanics. It gets fairly complicated, but yes, that's how it can be determined. Might be that Space Engine isn't the best tool for that. The Space Engine is mostly for making pretty pictures. But yeah, that's essentially how we can determine that. So that's the Doppler method. There's a bunch of other methods I forget. Like one of the neat things about the transit method with when a planet passes in front of the star is you can look at the spectral lines of the star, and you'll see, first of all, a dip in the intensity of the light, but you're going to get new spectral lines coming as the sun's light or the star's light passes through the atmosphere, if the planet has any, and then you're going to get the chemical composition lines for the planet that's orbiting it. So that's how you can actually guess what the planet's made out of, whether it has an atmosphere, whether it has water, and what chemicals are in its atmosphere.
So that's kind of like firing a rocket through fog.
I guess.
And just visually.
I guess, yeah, you can think of it like that, I suppose. So yeah, what's this guy? This guy is Mercury.
Hey, so you want to do this now? Because I brought this up to you, and we were talking about general relativity. We can kind of get into it.
Mercury transit, hang on.
Oh, so we'll be able to see that.
There it is.
Where?
Little fella.
Oh, damn.
That's Mercury.
So okay, so perfect. So this is one of the ways that I was thinking that they see planets. The closest star to us, do we see planets like this?
Alpha Centauri, I'm not sure if we have planets around it. Might be. We might know about some. But
that glare is a problem, right?
There's another method. When you're very close, when the planets, when the star is reasonably close to the Earth, but its planets are far away from the planet, and they're fairly hot, you can actually kind of sort of make out the planet itself. But those would be usually fairly hot and large planets. Alpha Centauri is actually. Oh, come on, why aren't you looking? Aren't you finding it? Centauri, Centaurus Alpha. No. Let's look for Proxima. Yeah, there's Proxima Centauri. So the Alpha Centauri system is actually 3 stars.
Yep,
what happened to my exposure? Whatever. I didn't want to go that way. Get out. There we go.
Oh, shit.
So the Alpha Centauri system is actually 3 stars. There's Alpha Centauri A and B, and then there's Proxima.
Yes.
Proxima is, I think, this guy here. So these guys are in mutual orbits. So they're in a binary orbit, right? They orbit each other. They orbit a common center in between them.
Yes.
There's nothing there. And then there's this guy here, orbits that common system. Is a tiny star. It's a dwarf star.
Well, hang on. So we're clear. Their orbital system, the system that they're orbiting, is kind of like if we tied. There's 3 of us, and we tied rope at the center to all of us.
Planet. No, this is. I keep forgetting. Yeah. If you're talking about binary star systems, yes. It's like 2 guys in a dance.
But isn't it the same with 3?
Not quite. It's one of the funny things is, I think this was actually a planet, but whatever. Not quite. That's one of the fascinating, weird conclusions about gravity is a 2-star system is stable, but a 3-star system is not. So eventually, a 3-star system, if you put 3 stars into a system, it is a chaotic system that will eventually become unstable to the point where one of the stars is going to get ejected.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I'm not sure if you guys remember those old toys. Those it's like it looks like those knockers, but it's fixed. And if you throw them, they make like a helicopter. But if you didn't do it right, it would just fling off under one direction. You never seen those things?
Yes, I know what you mean. It's like
yeah.
two arms that are connected. Yes, that's an example of a chaotic system, and a 3-star system is a chaotic system.
Okay, now
Solution.
Now, is that the same? Does this have the same result when we talk about the sun? Three bodies, not necessarily being the same. The mass like stars are, is it the same thing?
No, they have to be. So it's possible if one body is dominant, then it will eventually. In fact, let's see. Do I have a nice image here? Does this animation show that? There we go. Yep, I can show you this. This is going to show you what the problem is for a 3-body system.
Well, okay.
And let me change windows to this guy here. I can literally just paste it in chat, I guess. So there's the image or the video here. But basically, here's the problem for a 3-body system. Imagine these are stars. And so you initially start them out. You see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So notice that there's no stable orbit where they just want to sit. They won't settle into a circular orbit, ever. And this is just visualizing it. And this is 3 equally massed stars or objects. But notice what happens eventually after enough time has passed. One of them is going to get kicked out. And it's just about to get ready to happen now. Bye-bye.
Oh, okay.
And notice these guys have settled into a stable state.
But will it stay stable? Would it stay?
Yes, this will be stable. So they'll stay that way essentially forever. Not quite forever. There's, with enough time, stuff happens. But yes,
is there a stable
setup.
Wait, isn't there still influence on the 3 still, as this is still happening?
Not quite. The thing is that the third guy, from the near encounter here, he got so much energy that he essentially got escape velocity.
Okay.
So he's never coming back.
Okay, I guess that was the important part. Did it get?
Yeah, there's actually a way to mathematically express this, but it requires differential calculus. But essentially, he's being pulled back by these 2 guys, but he is losing speed more slowly than he's gaining distance, and the force is weakening. That is causing him to lose speed. So he will never come to a full stop in reverse direction. He will keep going.
Go back to when the yellow looked like it was being injected.
Yep.
So when this happens, right there, stop, pause it.
He was just about getting ready, yeah.
Okay, so what happens is the red and the blue, are trying to stabilize, so they kick out the yellow one, but they don't kick it out at escape velocity is the problem.
Not quite. He didn't get enough of a kick. If he had, then these 2 guys would have stabilized. You'll notice these guys are starting to make a nice orbit.
And yellow fucks it up. Wait, go back. Why is it? That confuses me, because when yellow is at this point, and red and blue are stabilizing, when yellow comes back, why doesn't it just disrupt that stabilization? Why does it actually take blue?
You mean it kicks out red?
Yeah, but it takes blue with it. I'm looking at this as the yellow one being the quote unquote point. Like, it's the gravitational effect that's affecting everything.
I mean, they each pull on each other, in proportion to their distance and their mass. So, in this case, I think the masses are all the same, but it's.
Right there. Yeah. Okay, right here. This is example, answers my question.
You can notice right here that this guy's curvature is straightening out because he's starting to get pulled equally by both sides.
Okay, and then right here, what's happening is they're becoming the two together, and
Yeah.
the red one is just trying to keep up, and
Yes.
because it's behind, it gets slingshot out. Got it. Cool.
Yes. He's gonna try and get in there, but he gets too close to one of them, steals some energy from both of them, and eventually just gets ejected.
Okay. Right.
Boom. So we had an
Ah.
extremely tight encounter there with the blue one,
Yep.
and it's just happened that the encounter geometry came out such that,
Mm-hmm.
such that he's the one who got ejected.
Yeah, he actually got too close to the interaction. If it would have happened a little bit, if it would have happened a little bit further back, it would have,
Yes.
it would have been a chaotic system, but it wouldn't have had enough
And
it wouldn't have had enough escape velocity.
Yes, and if this yellow guy hadn't been here, he would have gotten the same kick as the blue one, and they would have stabilized again, because they would have traded energy equally. But it's this guy here who pulls more on the blue than on the red, so this blue guy gets pulled back out, so he doesn't quite go off shooting anywhere. He gets basically pulled back into an orbit with yellow, but this guy's just a little bit too far to get that effect, and gravitational effects fall off as the square of the distance. So that extra distance is quite a lot less gravitational pull, and so he just is not able to lose the speed that he gained in that encounter, and he's just gonna leave the system.
Nice.
That's what escape velocity is about, and that's one of the reasons why we say that three body problems are unsolvable, is because when you have a setup initially, like at this start here, right? When you have this kind of a setup, or if you take Newtonian, just the Newtonian laws of force, you can do a kind of analytical solution is what we call it. You basically solve the problem at the start, and if an equation comes out that's going to predict the position of these things for every point in the future, then we say that the solution is stable. But the problem with three-body setups or three-body solutions is that there is no analytical solution that's going to give you a predictable path in the future. Any teeny tiny deviation or tiny change in velocity is going to end up as a chaotic change. So it's going to be absolutely unpredictable analytically what's going to happen. Now,
Okay, so we can only
Yes.
so what you're saying. So I'm going to try to dumb it down for some people.
We can, let me explain
yeah.
further. The only way we can solve a three-body problem is by iterative and numerical methods. So we basically have to time step forward and resolve the equations for every single point in time again and again and again and again. There is no, eternal solution that will work once and forever.
Okay.
There does exist a solution for two bodies. That's fine. That works. But for three bodies, there is no fundamental sort of analytical solution that's going to give you a solution forever. You have to basically step through it every time.
Yeah. So basically, what they're looking for is three objects in the perfect spot. Step one. Push play. Bad spot. Move on. Next one.
Yeah.
And then they got.
You can just say that I'm going to solve the equations for this time. I'm going to step it forward by 1 day, and I'm going to move the planets along the sort of velocities that I've solved, and then I'm going to resolve it again and recompute the forces, readjust the orbits, and solve it in steps. But there is no solution where you would just enter this state and give me the answer in a million years just by plugging a number into a single equation. You have to basically solve it step by step by step by step.
Okay, so
you can only do it with a computer.
So I'm going to ask a question, because this is a topic that is actually brought up a lot in the flat Earth community and in this debate and everything. When we're talking about the three-body problem, that's not even in our solar system. We don't have a three-body problem in our solar system.
So there is a way. So it really
We got a nine-body problem, so
yeah, we got an n-body. We've got
n-body problem.
Yeah, many. So there is a way to solve analytically solve a multi-body problem if you have one that is dominant.
A.e. the sun.
Yes, and you can ignore the rest, the contributions from the tiny pieces mostly. Then it is solvable.
Now,
eventually it will deviate from reality given enough time.
So I tried
But at
this
least
once.
it's not chaotic.
So I tried this once, and this will kind of make sense maybe, but it will be completely ridiculous to Blue and to Toro. I already know it already. Okay, so when I first heard about this, what I did, and I'm doing it as we speak, I drew a sun in the middle of my picture. Then I drew like just a bunch of little dots in a line, right? That make up all the planets. And then I played the how much game, right? So I gave the sun a 10. Right? This is gonna sound ridiculous. So the next one I gave has an influence. It will say of 7, right? 7 of that 10 influences that planet, but it has a 4. I don't know why I'm giving it these numbers. The next planet is influenced by the sun, 6, but it's influenced by a 0.5% of the first one. That's not how it fucking works, right? You get what I'm trying to say? So I would so, and this is what fucked everything up. And this is when I realized why, when I hear Flat Earth talk about the 3-body problem, why it's just it doesn't work. Because this is what they're trying to do. I'm telling you right now, this is actually what's happening. The sun has a gravitational pull. We say has a gravitational pull of blah blah blah. Its influence on every planet it has that influence. But because each planet has its own gravitational, that what the planet in between doesn't have just one force, it has 2, so it kind of negates it a little bit and it throws the numbers off. And I was always understood that was the 3-body problem, that they couldn't figure out that part.
Yeah, no, it's the problem is essentially that the integral is unsolvable if you want to try and construct a setup like that.
Okay.
It's solvable if you ignore some parts, which is the case for when one or more of the bodies are of insignificant mass.
So hang on. So Blue said it. He said there's what we actually have in the solar system is like a 9-body problem.
It is
So-
actually, it's an in-body problem, but just keep in mind that the 3-body problem is just a special case of an in-body problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a small case of a real. Okay, so with that being said, that means our solar system will end up like this.
Not necessarily, no. The sun is dominant in our solar system, so it simplifies. What you're seeing the video here is for 3 bodies that are of roughly comparable mass.
Okay.
In our solar system, however, it's something like 99.97% of the mass is in the sun. So realistically,
now
the
this is
rest of our solar system is essentially a bit of crap or a bit of trash that's collected some bit of dust around the sun.
okay. So even the objects in the solar system aren't enough mass to equate to the sun, because that was going to be my next question. Because even if it was, that would just be a 2-body problem in the big scale.
No. It would be an n-body problem if there was significant mass in the planets, but there isn't. So I'd have to look up the exact numbers. Like 99.97% of the mass is the sun itself. So the planets have essentially almost no influence on it. In other words, it's unlikely that that our solar system is ever going to fall apart in quite the same manner as this in such a short time. Now, individual planets can be ejected. But most of that has already happened way in the past.
They probably have been in the past.
Yeah, but that'd be more of like a rogue planet that's been being kicked out over and over again. Okay.
It's long gone now.
Yeah.
The only way, so you could actually break up the solar system if there was another star that passed, let's say, directly very, very close to the sun, or even through the plane of the planets. Then yes, we would very likely end up with planets being flung all over the place, and quite possibly much of it outside of the solar system. Just get straight up ejected.
Yeah, if you have a true 3-body problem, okay, a true one, there are actually a very, very few, but a few that people have found that do contain a closed form solution.
Yes.
But that's a rarity.
Yeah, it requires a very precise setup.
Yeah.
There's I know where there's 3.
You can't just take any 3 bodies and solve the problem any other way other than numerically or analytically.
Yeah, you have to have a very specific setup that allows you to ignore some terms of the problem. So I know that there's a three-body solution where you have three bodies of equal mass orbiting a common center. They have to be exactly 66 degrees. I'm sorry, 60 degrees apart, or no, 120 degrees apart from each other, and they
Right.
have to be at the exact same phase of their orbit. Then you will get a stable solution. But good luck finding that by random chance, as it's extremely sensitive setup.
Damn. Okay, so essentially, because this is being very specific, the Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Earth are not a problem.
No.
Okay.
Most
'Cause-
solar systems are stable.
That's what I was going to ask. The most realistic three-body problem, like we're watching, then would be galaxies doing this. This is more of a reputation of galaxies that we could observe.
No,
Not observe,
I mean,
but
it could happen. It can happen during star formation, where you have multiple stars that encounter each other and gravitationally interact. But you wouldn't really get a solar system forming around these kinds of setups. If there was any other planets around here, they would have been long since ejected. So it's kind of a self-selecting issue where if you see a solar system with planets around it, you know that it's either ejected all the crap that was in there that wasn't stable, or it never went through it. Right.
okay. Here's another.
By
I
the
don't
way,
know if
most
this
solar
is-
systems are actually binary stars, so that's kind of a
What?
strange consequence. We're kind of the odd ones out with our single sun.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, so wait, no, I'm not saying that right. Yeah, okay, wait. So most galaxies have two stars.
Most
Am
solar
I saying
systems.
that? So I'm sorry. Damn. Okay. Solar systems have, or galaxies have millions of stars, trillions, billions. Okay. My bad.
No, just stars love to stay in pairs for some reason. No one really understands that. I don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. It may be loaded, I don't know, but it's not purposely. With what we observe, isn't there some validity to say that everything had to have started somewhere?
Okay, I'm not sure if that's really a question that science concerns itself. If you need to, you
Oh
need
no,
to
it's
find incredible-
that's a philosophical question as it gets.
Okay, well, with that, I'll take my cue to go and have dinner. You enjoy the rest of your philosophical discussions.
I know you hate that so much. I love it. You have a good one, man. I appreciate the convo though.
See ya. Bye.
What's up, Earth is Life? How you doing, sir?
Did I miss? I'm sorry, I missed part of that presentation. I caught the tail end of when you guys were talking about the Eddington experiment.
Mm-hmm. The what experiment?
The Eddington, he was talking about the gravitational lensing.
Okay, yeah.
And he kind of touched on the Eddington experiment, and I
Hmm?
saw that he was using space engines.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's aware, but I'm pretty sure he's aware. You can literally that same solar eclipse that happened in Africa that they were talking where they did that observation. You can pull that date up and see exactly its path, the path of totality and everything in Africa.
I'm not gonna lie, and I wanted to say it. I said at the very beginning of what he was showing us on that space engine, that Stellarium does the same fucking thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
There,
the cool thing is that in space engine you can leave Earth and you can go to other planets.
you
go
can
to
do
the
wait,
moon, you can go to-
wait. You can do that on Stellarium.
No, you can't. Can you?
Yeah, yes, you can start in different places. Yes, I can look at look. Look. I can't here.
Like,
Watch this.
Hold on, Sean. What you can't do is you can like go thousands of miles or hundreds of feet, or you can go different elevations above the surface of the Earth.
What are you talking about?
Look at the Earth from-
Yes, you can. I can look at Earth from a galaxy.
No, but can you look at Earth from the moon?
Yes, I can.
Well, yeah. I guess-
Yes, That's what okay. Okay, here's the difference. Here's the actual only difference that I saw. You can't put yourself as a reference on a different object, but you can go 100 miles above the moon and look around. It's the same fucking thing.
On Stellarium.
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Okay, so when you zoom out of Earth, look again. On Stellarium, you can go to another galaxy and look at the Milky Way.
Okay.
Okay?
No, can you go to like one of Jupiter's moons and see Jupiter from one of the?
Yeah, okay. I can I can pick that. Yeah, there's a, man, I don't have it on my computer yet.
I've never. If it's true, that'd be cool because I've never seen that. I don't know. I know.
No, you can. No, you can. The only difference that I saw is that on the Earth engine, space engine, you can actually make you can make your reference the moon. You can make your reference blah 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 M31 star. You can make those your reference and put boots on the ground there, theoretically. In Stellarium, you just get an optical view. So if I say the moon, I can be at the moon, turn around and see Earth. I can zoom out and I can be at any elevation to that moon. I can make it so you can't see Earth because the moon's in the way. I can go to that date. I can go to the eclipse date, and I can go to Earth and see the path of I can see the shadow. I can turn around and see where the moon is.
I didn't know that. I never went that in depth into Stellarium. So
yeah, you can do a lot in Stellarium, and I don't even know much about it. I just know the little tutorials that they do on YouTube. But you can do all those things. You just have to take extra steps beyond the single options you fucking have. But yeah, you can start and go anywhere in Stellarium.
I think he's talking mobile version where you have kind of like a primitive 3D viewer for each main planet in the solar system and the moon separately. So you can basically just kind of, when you have them selected, click and have like a 3D view right around their area, but you cannot 3D travel in between them. Just have like a primitive 3D viewer for each one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's an actual in between rendered on Space Engine.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Move your location. You can move your location in real time.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm not saying it's not better. I've never been on Space Engine, but I can definitely say that it's.
So now that you have a decent computer, you should probably download it, man.
I probably will. Not today though, because today, like I said, this was just a quick stream. I was hoping SE came on, but I think, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty sure he was told not to come here. If that conversation were to be had, but no, I'm not sure if you saw it, because I told SE I may do a live stream because he had brought it up to me over at Earth Awakenings, and I had said, hey, if I pump up a live stream, we'll do it, because I wanted to show him on Inkscape that I have. My version of why it happened, which was basically exactly what tutorial was explaining. So I was pretty happy about that part of it. I think my mic is peaking. And because of that, I started up the live stream. But the thing is I also have a bunch of shit to do. My quest to get my license the other day was halted by me going to my vehicle to go to the appointment and my vehicle not running. So I had to start over and do it today. And my Jeep's still not running, so I still got to take care of that. So I don't have a lot of time today, but I wanted to get on and at least talk about that. But we got a lot more into it than I thought we would, so I'm very satisfied with this stream. I'm still going. I'm not done. I still got time. I got another half hour. But yeah, it's.
You should open up to liven it up a bit. You should have old Gary here explain Rayleigh criterion.
If he wants to. And
ahead,
if
Gary.
my.
Take it away.
Here, I'll check my audio. They're saying my audios are bad, but I will check it right now. Yeah, there's an in between actual.
I'm sure he's dying to explain to everybody, like he always is.
Oh yeah, damn. Okay, so you guys are super low, but I can fix that very easily. Why were you turned down? I had you turned down for some fucking reason. Oh, you should be good now. All right, sorry about that. But thank you in there, King Crimson. Yeah, I think it's. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, Earth. What was going on? Did you get any information on that guy? I saw that guy debate. I don't remember his name.
Ross,
What's his
PhD
name?
Tony.
Yeah, the guy that
Yeah,
debated
he was
Tony.
debating. Oh yeah, Ross.
Ross. Do you really want to debate him?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd like to. But I mean, I'm not sure when it'll happen. But yeah, I would like to. 'Cause
Do you know
I
why?
feel like sometimes. Go ahead.
Do you know why I asked you that?
No. Go ahead. Tell me why.
That dude doesn't seem very bright.
I know. And that's why I want him to be like. I want to show him the things that I have. That's why I'm like, maybe he might. You know, I feel like I kind of feel like he's not that far gone. You know,
Yeah.
if he sees the right things, maybe he'll
Yeah,
consider.
well, yeah. What I watched, he definitely hasn't developed a good enough argument that seems to have convinced him. Is what it is. Yeah, I'd love to moderate that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
For the sake of the internet fam, I would like to moderate it over at Demon Strides. He has his channel. I can always upload it later if I wanted to, but I'd rather do debates there. We do debates. A debate can ensue here anytime. I don't mind that at all. But if it's going to be like a scheduled one like that, I like to do it over at Demon's channel just because respect.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
tried the one with Brian. I don't know. I mean, eventually one day it'll come back around. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll try to get that going. Yeah, I can make b-ball. I can make b-ball a lot louder. I'm going to try to get Brian and you to debate. I feel like because you guys have your guys' history, it's kind of difficult for you guys to make it happen. And Demon Stride doesn't follow up enough, or not follow up enough. He does. He doesn't. How do I say this? I feel like I can get you guys to fucking get your shit together and actually debate better than he will. Because it's very simple. I'm the type of person. I'll go, like, if I see him at EA, I'll be like, if I see him at EA right now, I'm not gonna do it right now, but like I'm gonna go to EA. I would
do it right now, but I know what's gonna happen. What would happen is I would get into the debate, and then my wife would call me, and then that'd be it. Like, sorry, I can't finish.
Oh, so, I see. Yeah. That was why that one day you gotta be like, hey, babe, this is what's going on, and I need you to know that this is happening, and then that way that doesn't happen. I get it. No, I get it. Yeah. It's not simple. It's not something you can just go, this is how it's gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I walked. Oh, not me either, man. I walked in the living room. I was like, hey, babe, I'm gonna live stream. Is that okay?
Yep.
I know how it works, man. Hey, Glober Mom, how you doing? Glober Mom says Ross doesn't debate; he trolls.
He tried. I mean, he. I don't know. He's a Witsit minion, so.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Where did he came from? Because that was that debate on was the only one I've ever seen him in. I've never seen that guy. No idea who the fuck he is.
He's debated a few people. He was on FTFE. I think he was on MC Toon. I think he debated Ozian. So he made the rounds a little bit. He doesn't really have any really good arguments except for claiming that the Michelson Morley stuff and Earth isn't moving because the Michelson-Morley experiment, stuff like that. That's all. That's his own real argument. And he likes to bring up the quote. He's like I said, he's a Witsit minion. So a lot of his arguments he's gotten from Witsit.
Trying to figure out. My audio is super weird. I just realized like my audio is super low, but you guys are even lower. But I can't make it so you guys are really high because it'll blow out all the speakers. I don't know. We'll see. But I do got to get out of here. Hang on.
All right.
Oh, wait. There you go. Well, for next time, the settings are good now. I think I may be super loud, but to another day, that'll be something that I fix because today I got to take off. Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But yeah, like I said, it was going to be, I knew today was going to be a short one, just in the fact, but I was trying to get fucking SE to show up, but that happens. I will.
Would you like to talk about the JWST?
Yeah. All right, Sean.
Yep.
I guess I'll get out of here too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a short. I may go live later. Actually, if I go live, it'll be a couple hours. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing. We'll see. But like I said, I knew it was gonna be short. This was more of a get SE in here, and also a way of getting more of my settings figured out. But now I know I got to work on my audio. But I do appreciate you being here, sir.
No problem.
Yep.
I always try. If I see you live, I try and jump in. But
yeah, I know.
It is what it is.
I appreciate that. I'll see you around. I'll be around in a little bit.
All right, man. So yeah, I'll probably go up to Demon, see what's popping on the streets.
Yep.
So.
Peace.
All right, man. Yep.
All right, people. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to be a super, super, super long one. I was trying to get SE in here. I got to learn a lot about what was going on with the orbit of James Webb and what the three-body problem was. That's probably the biggest feat of today. Yeah, I know. I got to fix all that. I'm reading the chat right now. I can see they're saying there's delay. I got to play with my settings and I'm pretty sure it's in my OBS settings that's doing it. And then, all the other settings for the volume. Because I was listening, I could hear YouTube in my ear, and I can tell that it's super low. Yeah, no, I just started playing with the settings as well. So it's all in the workings. We'll get there, guys. Like I said, I'll try to go live a little bit later on. If I go live later on, it will be absolutely no topic, unless SE says he wants to come in. But it'll be absolutely no topic, and it will just be a lot of just BSing and seeing what everyone's doing. I may go hang out over at Minnesota Mass Media Discord server as Demon Strides. Links in the description. And other than that, guys, I'm going to go out of here because I do got to go, and I am just... You know how I do. I always procrastinate before I got to do something. So, with that said, guys, peace.
Disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. In that simple statement,